not MRI, a PET scan on their carotid, because COPD patients tend to have more heart disease as well. So if you do a PET scan of the carotid at the same time that you do their pulmonary function test, it turns out that they have much more inflammation in the carotid, and you can reduce this inflammation with Surenac. Now you get 2 for 1. You get 2 for 1 beggar, because you proved COPD and you proved something that has to do with cardiovascular disease. You know, and not people are going to be interested because, well, if you can prevent carotid inflammation, then you can probably prevent heart attacks as well. In people who get more heart attacks anyway. So that's a good sell. Which other thing you saw of? Anyway, that's one way to go about it. Is put in more physiological studies, not necessarily endpoint studies where you use a drug, I'm going to sit for 6 years waiting for you to get a heart attack. No, I'm going to give you this drug and wait for 6 months to see if I can measure something that is going to be different, that will suggest that it will probably do ABC because it does that. So that's an approach to take, yeah. And that makes it shorter, makes it more efficient.
How would you go about the, do you actually try to prioritize and say, okay, well, we're going to first approach this one pharmaceutical company, and then you can't just...
It depends on your money and your time, right? How many hours you have to run people.
Yeah, well, Dave, what do you think on that? Is that how you would do it? You would go, like, pick the best one you think has the best shot of...
Yeah, I would think you do a probabilistic analysis of, you know, the best candidates, and, you know, again, put a good face on this whole concept and company, if you will.
Right.
But you really don't have a company right now per se.
Right.
You have a concept.
Well, undercover.
Yeah, totally, which is okay.
Which is what we wanted.
Yeah, that's fine.
Undercover is good because
That's fine.
because this undercover, you know, suddenly
And
explodes
you
tomorrow.
have not blown a lot of financial resources in this
No.
in this process, so you still own a hell of a lot of the company,
Right.
and so you're not looking at a great dilution.
Well, if you partner, you don't dilute.
I know,
It's
exactly.
amazing,
So
right?
you own some bitch.
Yeah. So, you know, my plan was starting next week, because, you know, I just left the hospital, but starting next week is to put some phone calls through. You know, call Merck, call Pfizer, you know, call Teva, call McNeil, and say, you know, here's what we got.
You may want to hold off on that till he gets back with you, so.
Until he gets...
Well, till you guys kind of,
Yeah, well, we're going to sit together and talk some more.
Well, yeah,
What I want
we'll
you to do-
collaborate
see,
on
What I
this.
want you and your wife,
you want to jump in there too
No.
fast. And,
I want you to shoot arrows at us.
Okay.
Seriously.
Yeah, fine.
Because I want your wife or the expert or anybody else say, this is wrong, this is wrong.
Yeah.
And my job is to go back and say, no, this is right and this is why. Now, I did make contact with Tom Fogarty. I sent him an email.
who is that?
You know who Tom Fogarty is?
No.
Tom Fogarty is a legend. He's the guy at your own winery, Fogarty Winery.
Oh, I know him.
Yes.
I know
Well, he
him.
also was a interventional cardiologist.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. He invented the Fogarty balloon, which was the first balloon to dilate blood vessels in the world. He was a punk in Boston until some doctor picked him up and put him in a lab and said, why don't you try to do something else? And he basically developed his 200 papers, you know, 70 patents, and he has
Oh, is that?
the Cardiovascular Institute in El Camino.
I've actually been to his winery.
Yeah, but he has a Cardiovascular
It's up
Institute in
there
El
on
Camino,
San Ramon.
which he runs.
Skyline.
So,
yeah.
this guy has tons of money. You know, he's pretty old. He's 80, I think. So, you know, he doesn't need any more money. So, any idea that is potential, he might be interested in to talk about. And
Did he
he's
write you back?
By the way, he's a partner with Alan May. They have a startup company, Tom Fogarty. You know Alan May from Life Science Angels?
Well, I don't know them.
Because the Life Science Angels is another group, and Alan May is the founder
Of Life Science?
Life Science Angels. And he and Fogarty sort of work together because they have another.
Did Fogarty get back to you?
Fogarty has not gotten back to me yet, but I'm not sure he got my email. It was jumbled a little bit at that time.
Once
Okay.
you, maybe Dave can take over this and just, maybe we don't have to go to him, so.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
Well, we certainly need to collaborate.
The most exciting angle to me, or the most promising angle, is find a partner. But don't find a partner for Tiara. Find a partner for talent overdose. Find a partner for statin.
Oh, the
Find a
subs.
partner, sub everything.
Yeah, you sub it in micros, huh?
You sub it. Okay.
David knows that.
You can have that portion, but you can't have it all. Now, you could have it all.
But you don't let them in a holding company.
No, no.
David, you don't let them in.
No, no, if they come to me tomorrow and say, "I'll give you $20 billion," okay, take it all.
Sure.
That's fine.
Yeah, right.
I'd like 40, but I'm not a pig.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Whoa.
Sure.
My only reason to do a 20 or 40 is to break the record. I don't,
Yeah.
you know, you can't
Oh,
use that
come
much.
on.
You can't use that much money anyway. So yeah, I mean, we start. I think we start by fractioning it. We start by going to McNeil and say, we can solve your tunnel pain headache.
Oh, yeah.
And for McNeil, it's very interesting because it does several things.
We gotta get a few more studies done there.
Well, we need some studies, not necessarily that much. We need to do an animal study on tunnel overdose, which is we're ready to do. We just need the cash to do it.
How much is that?
I think Carol quoted me. I had to look it up. I'm sorry.
Best guess?
I think she said 15,000, something like that.
How much?
15 or 20.
No, well, that's okay. You can go back and check it
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
So-
It's not a huge
No,
amount.
don't worry about
Not a
it.
huge amount.
So, we're not asking you to check records.
Okay. No, I have it there. I got a letter from her the other day.
Is there anyone else? Any other studies, major ones? or-
Well,
anything?
that's the only study in animals, and it has to do with tunnel overdose.
How about
Now we
humans?
wanted to do a multiple sclerosis study.
How much is that?
That's about $7,000.
7,000?
Mhm.
7 million. All right, so you're not sure on that price.
No, I'm sure about the multiple sclerosis study because Charlie priced it out.
That's on the rats, right?
That's on animals, yeah.
7,000, okay.
They're
all right.
cheap. Yeah,
On
they're-
the rat. How
Ama-
about human stuff?
Amazing cheap. No, your study starts going up. No,
Oh.
no question about it. No question about it. You cannot run a respectable clinical trial for more than a year for sure for less than $5 million. That's what they cost.
That's what my investigations showed yesterday.
Any
and the day before.
any study you do, and I don't care what.
So
Now, it's cheaper.
Which ones do we need?
Okay, so like I said, it's cheaper when you have a soft endpoints in a sense, but strong enough that they're clinically significant. If you sit and wait for people to die, it takes a long time. It's expensive. You need a lot of people to track the patients.
Right.
If you say, okay, well, I'm not able to die, not die, I don't know. But in the meantime, the lung function gets better. They get admitted to the hospital less often. What is Advair? Advair doesn't prevent mortality. Advair is a lung drug. Advair prevents you from having COPD exacerbation. Okay? Now, if you can demonstrate this prevention of COPD exacerbation by 20, 30, 40%, you're almost done. You're almost home free. If you can do that. No.
Gotcha.
So the soft endpoints are COPD exacerbation, changes in inflammation, looking at, say, carotid, for example. Now, the beauty is,
Is that a separate study?
no, it is and it isn't, but here's the beauties. It isn't
Explain
because...
that, explain that.
I'm going to explain to you. There's nothing... Here's a patient. I have COPD. Okay? I'm going to take a drug to make less COPD episode. Now, I also know that those same patients tend to have inflammation in carotid. I also know those same patients probably have more inflammation in the brain. They're probably more likely to get Alzheimer.
Huh.
Okay? Nothing to prevent me from looking at all these at the same time. While I'm giving him the Surenac, I can look at anything I want. I can look at COPD, I can look at brain inflammation, I can look at Alzheimer's, I can look at...
Same test?
Same time. It's a different test.
Same time.
Same time, different test. So it costs a little extra, but these are all physiological studies. So
How much
Not
extra?
terribly expensive.
5 million to 7 million?
To do it, yeah, it's something like that in that range if you're going to do the whole study.
Yeah, yeah.
But the extra point, the Alzheimer's, for example, the add-on to doing an Alzheimer's on top of COPD is not very high, because you're already treating the patient. All you do is an MRI. So you do 40 MRI and 40 patients, and you got your data on Alzheimer's.
Your incremental cost is negligible.
Incremental cost is very, very low. Once you decide a study to do, and then you just look at everything. So.